Alright, today we're going to be working on one-point perspective word art. Basically, it's your classic one-point perspective. To pull this off, I prefer using block letters. If you're not familiar with a block letter, just imagine the most squared off, no rounded edges lettering possible. Sometimes you have to kind of be creative with letters like, say, the letter D. Anything that's got a lot of round edges is a little more tricky. For today, I'm going to be spelling the word art. The A is relatively easy, the T is very easy. The only mild challenge is the R. So right now I'm just drawing out the shapes, and again I'm trying to make them as squared off as possible, lots of rectangles and squares and so on. It's also very important that you make all of your lines semi-lined up, so the top of the A, that line goes across the top of the R, the top of the T, and same with the bottom. So once I've spelled the word art, and again it's very squared off, the next part is the one-point perspective. So literally I'm putting a little dot somewhere middle-ish top of the page. I'm going to take my ruler, and almost every single edge of each letter has to have a line going to that one point. Now, some of the lines you're going to have to ignore, some of the lines you're going to have to erase at a later time. The hard part is just kind of looking at it and saying to yourself, is this a place where there should be a line, or should I not have a line there? Sometimes I'll draw all the lines, and then I'll go back in and erase the ones I don't need. I'm also drawing fairly light. For this stage, lighter pencil marks are better. If you like it in the end, go back over with a pencil that's a little bit darker, or use a Sharpie and outline it. Alright, so there's my arts, there's my lines all going to one point. It's up to you how far back you want to draw the letters. So that looks like a pretty thick A, R, and T. Now I have to make some cross lines. So once you have the top of the letters, now you can decide where to put, the angle for the A, or the straight up and down for the T. Actually, it looks a little low. There we go. So even adjusting the T there makes it look a little better. All right, now I gotta start erasing. Okay, some lines I'll cut through, don't need them. All the lines going from the letter to the one point, I'm not gonna need them. So right now it's editing. Which one can I keep? Which one do I need to get rid of? And again, once I've drawn from each part of each letter to that one point, if I don't think I need that line anymore, now I just got to erase it. Right. A couple little adjustments, Right now I'm not going to fully erase all the lines, just going to edit here. Alright, so at this point, I like the letters. I think they look good. Again, this is a choice you make. I'm going all pencil. If you want to go in with a Sharpie and outline your letters instead of just making a darker pencil mark, that is totally fine. It's up to you. If I had, let's say, a drawing pencil set, I'd probably be doing an 8B pencil right now. For this optical illusion, it does help to outline the letter. I'm not always going to say outlining is the best idea, but for right now, this is a good choice for these letters. It makes them stand out, makes them a little more bold. The nice thing here also is that it does make it look more tag art, and that's definitely a style of art. So I'm just kind of editing myself. I'm going over the lines. If I make any mistakes, corrections, fix them up. But again, right now it's all about tweaking and changing anything that doesn't look right. So that little edge of the R there needs to be rounded. So I erase a little corner, and now the R looks, more appropriate for what it is. All right, so again, when you're doing the one-point perspective, really the hard part is just deciding which lines make it to the one point. Drawing a block letter can be a little difficult. Sometimes you'll have to tweak it, change it, make it look right to your eyes. But then after that, it's what corner of what letter makes it to that one point off in the distance. When it gets to the shading portion, I like to shade in the same value in roughly the same places. So what I mean is, the underside of the A will probably be the darkest part of my letter. The underside of the R will be the darkest part. Underside of the T will be the darkest part. You can do a lot of ranges of values. I prefer, honestly, 3. If I want to get a little tricky, a little gradation here and there, but for the most part, 3 values is a really great way to do this type of art. So I'm doing a pretty solid value here, and that's not the darkest this pencil can go, but it's pretty close. So again, because one side is all the same value, I shade in just that one side. So they're all consistent, they're all equal. Now at this point again, I'm trying to make all the sides that are equal to each other the same value. It's a solid shading, pretty dark. So now I gotta start doing values in between. The front side of the letters, I like to imagine where that one point is, for lack of better words, my light source or my sun. So basically whatever is closest to that one point is the lightest thing I'm gonna shade in. So I'm going from the back of the letter towards the one point, trying to make it a little bit lighter as I work my way there. Alright, so see how I'm going from a not real dark, but a deeper gray to a fairly light gray? And again, I gotta do the exact same thing for the top of each letter. If one letter was real dark and the other one was real light, it throws off the illusion. So you have to be pretty consistent with your shading. You gotta be equal all the way across. And again, darker, more pressure, lighter, ease up on the pressure. That's all you gotta do. Alright, so for the front side of the lettering, again, this is a black and white drawing. If I were gonna use colors, you know, maybe each letter is a different color, maybe each side is a different value or type of color, so like a light blue, a dark blue, and a medium blue. But in this case, the front side of the letters, I'm trying to be mostly consistent with not entirely the same shade of gray, but a little bit darker medium gray value. And again, I'm imagining the light source is from above, so obviously the top part of the letter is a little bit lighter and the bottom part of the letter is a little bit darker. So again, as I work from top to bottom, less pressure, more pressure as I get my way down. And again, because this side of the letter has to be a little bit darker than the top of the letter, I'm going with a little bit heavier pressure. And as I work my way down, I increase the pressure so it gets not real dark, but just a little bit darker. Again, don't forget to correct any oopses as you work your way across. Okay, and then again, doing the exact same thing for my T that I did for the A and the R. Less pressure on the top, but a solid gray value. As I work my way down, I increase the value, make it a little bit darker, not a lot darker, because again, the sides of the A and the R and the T are the very dark side. Alright. And once I've got my cleaning, time to get rid of all those lines. Don't need them anymore. Clean up as best you can. It looks pretty good. And there you go. And again, anywhere you want.